welcome to the 111th installment of Em Alejandro, your number one place for sports, cars, video games, fitness. If you're a man, you're here. Mr. Alejandro's about to tell him.
What you about to tell him, Alejandro?
NFL players are retiring from the NFL. That's not news, right? But what if Mr. Alejandro told you they were retiring early, retiring in their prime, retiring in their 20s? Some of them don't even have money saved up. Why are they retiring so soon from the NFL? I cover these tough topics in the Tell Zone.
Tell him, Alejandro!
TEA drinkers, the NFL is currently facing another dilemma. This dilemma is actually within the players, and they're not misbehaving off the field for once. They're actually getting off the field and calling it quits. We have several players right now in the NFL retiring, and they're retiring before they're even 30 years young. This is stunning. One player in particular hasn't even saved up his guap. His name is Chris Borland. He played 1 year in the NFL. He was a third-round pick. And the only reason he played is because the starter at his position got injured. He was a backup. He came in, played great. He was actually one of the best defensive rookies in the NFL this season. And now he's calling it quits at the young age of 24. Him and his family sat down and made this decision together, and they felt it would be best if Chris stopped playing football. He does not want to eventually end up getting brain damage, which is a big dilemma right now for the NFL, which is one of the reasons why the past few years, 5 to 7 years, football has toned down in terms of tackling, especially hits in the head. Then there was a Tom Brady injury which stopped the hits below the knees. So now there's a big problem right now with defensive players in the NFL. They don't know where to tackle offensive players because they oftentimes now are getting flagged or getting penalized for hitting a player from the chest, where the numbers are, below to the waist, because that's basically the target zone now. It's crazy right now what's going on in the NFL. A lot of old school players actually sued the NFL because they are talking about how they have a lot of body problems now because they play in the NFL, especially with their brain, their mind. There's a lot of former players who unfortunately passed away or have developed a symptom known as CTE and unfortunately are severely affected because they used to play in the NFL. So now, looking at Chris's decision, I can't blame him, B. Me personally, I wouldn't play in the NFL for health reasons. Chris has opted out. A lot of people are calling Chris a quitter. I completely disagree. Chris is not a quitter. Chris has decided to take his talents elsewhere. He's going to probably go back to school, probably look at another career, whatever the case may be. One thing I want to let y'all know, being a football player is not a career, because when it's all said and done, you're going to need to do something else afterward. That's why we see a lot of players, after they finish playing, go on ESPN, become an analyst, go on such and such, because this football career does not last long, my G. There's another football player by the name of Jason Worilds. At the age of 27, he's decided to retire, and this is shocking. The reason why this is shocking is because Jason was about to become a free agent, and the position that he plays, he's a pass rusher in the NFL. It's a big deal right now to be a pass rusher in the NFL. You're gonna make them bands, baby. M&M's. I want them M's. So he was about to get a big fat contract, and he retired. He decided to take his talents and follow his faith. He's gonna pursue a life with the Lord and be a Jehovah's Witness. All credit to him, man. Do your thing. I respect that decision the same way I respect Chris's decision. I want to see Jason do big things in the Jehovah's Witness game. You feel me? Going door to door, put people on. Now, my man's Chris is different from Jason because Jason was in the league for quite some time. He stacked up his bread, M&M's, at least I would hope. Now, Chris only played one season. He only made an M in his rookie season. So it's not like he really stacked it up crazy. Not to mention, after taxes, what is that M really? Like what? 500 bands? Then what? You gotta pay your agent, you gotta pay the people that surround you in your circle. So he really did not make that much money. Now, of course, to the average person, what, 300 bands, 350 is probably a lot, but Chris is definitely going to run out of that. I hope he definitely finds a sexy career for him, because I would hate to see him down the road regret this decision. We also have another player by the name of Patrick Willis. He recently retired. He's a future Hall of Famer, my G. He's been in the NFL for 8 seasons. He just retired at the age of 30, but he got injured, and he didn't play a game since turning 30 years old. He was actually the starter on the San Francisco 49ers, and when he got injured, Chris Borland actually ended up coming in and replacing him. So can you believe that? 2 players at the same position on the same team are now retiring. I'm wishing all 3 of those players the best. Now, I understand a lot of cats want to play football growing up, and they also have no choice because they're probably in a tough situation. They're probably living in poverty, and possibly making the NFL would get them and their family out of this situation. More power to you, my G. But me personally, I would definitely recommend, instead of running with the ball when you're growing up as a little kid, kick the ball or swing a bat at the ball, or maybe even put the ball through the hoop, my G. Basketball, soccer, baseball, especially soccer and baseball, my G. I would definitely recommend those sports. Why? I'll tell you why. Less of a health risk. Now, yes, in soccer, you do smash your head up against the soccer ball for headers to try and get the goals, you know what I mean? And you do, from time to time, hit your head up against another opponent, and that is dangerous. But nonetheless, the money in soccer and baseball specifically, the money's good in basketball, but those two sports, it's better than the money in football. Football does not have guaranteed contracts. For examexample, my man Ndamukong, big time free agent, just signed a $114 million contract with the Miami Dolphins, but $60 million of that money is guaranteed, which means if he plays one season and he blows his knee out and his career is over, he gets $60 million guaranteed. Let's say the team decides to release him, he gets 60, he doesn't get the entire 114. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas in baseball and in soccer, those contracts are popping. Listen to this contract my man Giancarlo Stanton just got for the Miami Marlins in baseball. 13 years, $300+ million. That is called security, people.
Winning. You
want those type of contracts. You don't want these unguaranteed contracts that you're getting in the NFL. So until the players and the union, they sit down with the owners and they duke it out and get some better contracts, I would recommend for y'all youngins to try and play soccer or baseball growing up, or like I said before, put the ball through the hoop, baby. Now, down the road, and probably 30 years from now, 2045, 2050, I do think football will still be here, but due to the health risk, I think the sport will be very different. There's a lot of jokes right now saying, oh, football is becoming flag football because basically you can't hit a lot of players in today's day and age. We may have flag football on the real down the line, and that would suck because I do believe the violence does draw a lot of people to the sport, but a lot of changes are slowly happening to the sport right now, and I think in 30 years, it's going to be a completely different sport. There you have it, folks. Mr. Alejandro's tough topics in the television. A lot of today's players in the NFL are electing to leave the sport early. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Obviously, it's bad because we're losing talent, and some players in the future may not look to play football. They may look to play other sports. But it's a good thing because these players are going to be a lot healthier, hopefully. And another reason why it may be a good thing is because I remember there was a time on my New York Giants. There was a beastie running back by the name of Tiki Barber. He was a beast. He retired the very next season. I can't even make this up. My Giants won the Super Bowl. So, hey, maybe your team is now in line to win a Super Bowl because somebody left. And maybe things will be smoother in the locker room. Just trying to give you some false hope. What do you think, TA Drinkers? Do you think this is a good look to have players dipping from the league ASAP, mad early, or nah? Do you think these players should stay in the league and bang it out and be tough and be a goon in the paint? Tell them in the comments.
Tell them.
Tonight's Checkered Bow Ties brought to you by Countess Mara. I'm looking fly. I'm looking like bread. My man's Chris died on The Walking Dead. Tune in for more sports, cars, video games, fitness, and all of that. Follow at Em Alejandro to hear my immediate reaction to live sports events, or if you want to hear me cover a certain team or topic, tell them. Outro music. I really don't feel like turning up right now, man. I'm about to just chill and drink my TEA. Sorry, TA drinks. I know y'all wanted to see me go crazy. I can't help it. I'm getting reeled in by the sexiness. Let's get it. Woo, woo, woo.